Hi, welcome back to Vela News TV. I'm Neil Rogers here with Chris Horner for another episode of the Chris Horner Diaries. We're at the start of Stage 16. Chris, we missed you on the rest day yesterday. A lot going on in the press room. We got actually quite a few angry emails, people demanding their Horner Diary, so glad to have you back. Big story, of course, Alexander Vinokurov. Your reactions?
Yeah, it's so far this tour has been not only action-packed but drama-packed too. It's incredible what's been going on with the Rasmussen stuff, with the Vino stuff, and then other rumors floating around here and there. But with Vino and the Istana team leaving, now they're setting the precedent. That stuff just isn't acceptable in the sport. You do it, you're going to get caught, and you're going to be sent home.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. Yesterday in the press room, David Miller was actually giving a press conference when the news hit, and so, of course, he got swarmed by all the journalists wanting a reaction. And he expressed surprise, and I was actually a little surprised to hear him express that surprise, considering before the weeks coming into the tour, obviously with Istana, there's Mazzolini going out, Kessler going out, Walter Godefroot, one of the team advisors, not coming to the race, Vinokurov admitting he worked with Ferrari. I mean, is that genuine that a rider would be surprised to hear news like that, considering sort of all the where there's smoke, there's usually fire?
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised, not at this moment. It wasn't something that surprised me more. What surprised me is probably just the fact that some of the riders were getting away with that. I mean, you can't argue the fact that it existed. I mean, with the Porto case, you see it on TV with the amount of problems they had with that, and you have 3 riders that are connected to that, and there's got to be more. So maybe we're finding more of those now, maybe not, I don't know. But it's definitely, like I said, it's setting the precedent. We're just not going to accept that anymore. It's not something you're going to get away with. The UCI is doing its job. WADA is doing its job. Whoever it is doing the drug control, for Vino, and is doing the drug control for the whole Tour de France, is doing its job. Is catching the guys that are cheating. And I mean, when you're blood doping, you're taking your level of form to a whole nother level that guys just can't compete against, and that's an advantage that's just completely off the chart.
Before the Vinokurov story hit yesterday, what we expected was going to be the biggest story was Rasmussen. He had a press conference in the press room. A lot of controversy around his whereabouts, his not filling in the UCI forms. I want to find out your thoughts on whether Rasmussen belongs in the race, if he wins, if there's an asterisk next to his name, if this controversy is warranted. And I also want to find out just how difficult it really is to inform the UCI as to where you are.
Yeah, very difficult. I have a missed test myself, one from the World Championships. Last year I was at the hotel with the world team having dinner. Sean Petty, all the high guys from the cycling team, everybody's there, the team, the staff, everyone's at the hotel having dinner with me. WADA was down the street. WADA was testing riders that morning at hotels that were right next door to mine. USADA showed up at my house in Bend, Oregon, not, of course, in Salzburg where the World Championships were. Called me on the phone, talked to the lady on the phone, told her, I said, I'm here. I'm right next to the president of USA Cycling, the president of, everybody, everyone there. Steve Johnson's there, everyone. I'm like, you want to talk to them? Here they are. I'm here. Come test me. This is where I'm at. So that's a bit different scenario than what Rasmussen has of maybe I can't get a hold of you for a month. Now, I don't know all the facts in Rasmussen, so I don't want to pretend I do. I'm telling the viewers now, I don't know all the facts. If you can't get hold of a rider for a month, that's a problem. The rider's not where he's supposed to be. You're picking up the cell phone. You got a hold of him. You got a hold of him the next day. You got a hold of him 2 days later. A week later, maybe he went camping with his kids or something. But a month later, or many, that kind of period's a long time for someone not to be able to get a hold of someone. That's the problem I have. I don't have a problem with he missed a test. It's impossible. There's no way you as viewers too, you cannot give that kind of date and say, I'm going to be here on this date. You turn your cell phone off, you go to dinner with your wife, you have dinner, you have movie, they showed up at your house the minute you left your house, they waited 2 hours, they were gone. Dinner is going to take you 2 hours, movie's going to take you another 2. Hopefully something else was happening that night. So you're busy. Things happen. You can miss a test. I have absolutely no problem with riders missing a test, but if he was gone for an enormous length of time that just no one could get a hold of him, that's something different. That's a whole nother ballpark. But there's no way, again, I don't have a problem with missed tests, but there's no way you can be gone for enormous amounts of days without someone being able to get a hold of you nowadays with cell phones, computers, and stuff. And if you're out hiking and camping, even that, who's going to go camping longer than a week or something?
Well, so just then to say that for Rasmussen to have multiple incidences of his whereabouts unknown is definitely suspicious.
Yeah, it's definitely suspicious. Again, can you kick him out? Again, you got to have the hard facts.
Sure.
And you got to have the hard facts. Does it make me suspicious? Absolutely. Do the stories coming from the States, do I have a problem with that? Absolutely. But is it enough to throw the guy out of the tour?
Well, it's got to be
tough.
It's got to be tough for you guys, obviously, with Cadell sitting third right now as well. I mean, obviously, Cadell would like to be on the podium and win the race. So, here's a guy who's beating your team leader.
Yeah, you got to remember too. He's sitting third, and when Contador's going up the road, Rasmussen's pulling him away also. But again, the Rasmussen problem. I don't have the facts.
Sure.
No concrete facts have given other than just people saying this and that. I don't know if that's enough.
Well, obviously, with Vinokurov now out of the race, if the B sample comes back positive, Cadell takes the stage win for the time trial. That's maybe not enough condolence for Cadell.
No, sure, it's not enough condolence. About the only thing we gain out of that is a little bit bigger prize money cut. That's it. So that's not a whole lot of condolence. Same thing, I'm sitting on the bed yesterday, rest day. I didn't ride my bike, watching movies and stuff. Moved up 2 places on GC. So. But it's not enough. It's not the way I want to see it. What I want to see is just everyone racing fair and clean and on a level. I want to see everyone racing on a level playing field. I want to know that when you're starting from kilometer zero, everyone's starting from kilometer zero. Sure. So that would be nice. But the world is not always white as one would want it to be, and sometimes it goes a bit darker than that. And hopefully by this we'll start to bring it a little bit less dark.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about racing. Let's talk about your day in the mountains before the rest day, and also what you expect to see today, not only with Contador and Rasmussen, but also with Cadell.
Yeah, absolutely. Yesterday, the last race day for me was fantastic. I had good legs. I was climbing the front, but I put a lot of effort. I was going really hard into the red to stay as long as I could with Cadell. But that was fun. I mean, that's what the tour is all about. Going up the climbs in the front group, and the crowds are fantastic, and they're just enormous. They were the second to last climb. We're going through the fog, so it's what I came to the tour for. It's why I'm here, and I love the opportunity. One journalist already said, "Hey, with all this drama, should we just quit the Tour de France?" Hell no! I came to the Tour de France, been trying to get here all my life. This is my third year. I want there to be a couple more, and I don't want to leave early. Let me make that clear right now. And when you're taking guys like Vino away, that doesn't make me want to leave. That makes me go, all right, we're getting rid of those guys. Now let's get down to the business of everyone being a lot more on the same page.
Well, everyone really appreciates all your the way you analyze the strategy, all your input. And I don't have a particular reader question in mind, but probably a half dozen or more letters came in wondering about the Istana tactics with Vino going up the road. Obviously, Cloden was their GC favorite at that point, and people wondering if maybe that was not the best move. What was your take on that?
Well, he won the stage. Cloden stayed with the leaders more or less. I would say the hardest tactic I had is when you looked at the top. When those two attacked, when Rasmussen and Contador attacked, Cadell was in a position where, yes, okay, I could cover it, but I'd be really at the limit, maybe at the maximum. They'd drop me and be by myself. If I sit back here with these guys, we got a descent, we got 10K or whatever it was to get into the finish line. I got 5 guys here that are going to help me chase. There's no way they're going to hold us off. They go over the top. What does Cassius King do? Nothing. He sits there, he does nothing. He doesn't get on the front and ride for Cloden like he should have. Cadell pulled up the hill. You see Cassius King, he goes to the front, does like a half-second pull, and then he pulls off. I mean, as a teammate, that would have been his job to just go on the front and drive it. But Istana's been doing tactics like that all year, where they're just absolutely unpredictable and make no sense, at least in my eyes and in my opinion.
Yeah.
But for Cadell, I mean, he lost time there with different kind of tactics.
Yeah, he was pretty frustrated after the stage.
Yeah, exactly. With tactics, it just didn't make any sense. I mean, why not work with Cadell? If you're Cassius skiing and you're Cloden, why not work with Cadell on the descent and maybe one or two other guys in that group?
Yeah, it doesn't do anybody any good to see the time gap open up like that. The only people it does any good maybe is Levi.
Right. Oh yeah, of course Levi's going to sit. He's got a free ride, and he's been racing a great tour the whole year, being really perfect teammate, basically.
All right, well, we got to let you go, but just as far as today, it's the last day in the mountains. It's the summit finish. Is Rasmussen going to crack? A lot of people are saying Contador can win this tour. How do you see the day playing out?
Those two, I think, are going to light it up on the last climb. They're going to have to. Contador needs more time. Contador is even going to be thinking that he needs some more time on Cadell, but certainly he's going to need more time on Rasmussen. Rasmussen looks strong. He's still sitting there. It's going to be a hard climb to ride him off. I would say the two will probably come to the line. Maybe a break before that will make it to the line that's not affecting GC or something. Certainly Discovery's got to be thinking we're going to send Popovich up the road. Absolutely. I mean, he's the only one that if they can send up the road that'd be a threat aside from Levi. So if they're willing to risk Levi's GC, then they can send Levi up the road. But I don't know if they're going to be willing to risk that. I gamble say it's Popovich.
Is there anything that Cadell and Cadell can do differently than you've done to try to move Cadell up, gain some time?
Cadell, he's just going to have to ride that much harder. He's going to have to fight to stay with the leaders, and he's done that. He's done everything he can do. You can see him. Some people are saying, "Oh, he's not being aggressive. He's not doing this. He's not doing that." He is riding at the limit and giving more than any rider in this Tour de France is right now to be where he is at GC. It just happens to be the two riders in front of him are riding a bit better on the climbs.
Yeah. Chris, as always, thanks for the time. Good luck out there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks. We'll talk to you later.